Hello guys, this is Big Fish, and on this video we're gonna be talking a little bit about what I would call the fate of Primrose. And this video was kind of made for one purpose, because a lot of people actually wanted me to play with this class again, and you guys are asking why am I switching to this Akunoichi. Honestly, the reason is quite simple, to be honest. It's because the Primrose is a dead class. And the best way that I can put this is, basically this class has, it's pretty obvious that this class has the worst super armor in the game. This class is heavily countered by basically almost anything. Like stealth can completely nullify this class because it's mainly vertical. And basically having stealth or invisibility or grabs or like another forward guard would actually ruin this class. And this is just something that I want to talk about. And there's a reason why I'm not playing with this Primrose again, and the reason is actually quite obvious. It's because this class is dead. That's it actually. There's not really a lot of other reasoning behind everything else. I think that this class is just dead. Although you see here that I'm constantly I'm still winning live, but it's it took me a lot more effort to win something that I would normally just can do without effort. With the Primrose, I need to think a lot more. I need to deploy more strategies, and I'm very hard countered by many classes like Corsair, GMs, this Pedal Ward skill is bugged. So what happened is this Pedal Ward often cannot come out, and this thing actually is bugged for a very long time already. In fact, it has been bugged since the very first day it was released in the game. And so this Primrose has been bugged since a long time ago, and it's not fixed for a very, very long time. This transit area is actually a fucking god, man. If you see there, my full combo did nothing, while his full combo dealt so much damage to me. In fact, that combo that I dealt to him was actually more than a full combo. The reason was because he got resistance, and my Pedal Ward actually broke that resistance, and I clipped with him with the daze again after a knockback, which is not supposed to happen, but it did happen. And that means he's supposed to be taking a lot more damage, but he's not dead from more than one combo. This is simply just a strategy that I devised to break forward guards. This Primrose is heavily countered by the GM. I don't know how Transit Area manages to lose. This Transit Area is a YouTuber, and he's actually quite a decent player. He's probably not feeling himself, or he's just trying out the class. I just want to talk a little bit about why I'm not playing the Primrose anymore, and why I think that until this class is critically buffed, I don't think that I will ever play this class again. To be completely honest with you, it really hurts my feelings to see that this class that I put so much effort and love die just like that. So this guy is actually quite smart. He knows how to break my forward guard. He was going behind me just now. That was very lucky. I got a lot of crit on that one. But when you're playing a little bit too long, and the moment I saw that he used his evasion, like, to me, to behind me, I kind of knew his intentions already, and so I reacted to what he was about to do. This is just a little bit of something that I can't really teach. It's just something that you will develop on your own. The more you play, the better you get. So I want to talk a little bit about why I think that this game is fucking rigged and this Primrose is garbage. This is Akasha, by the way. Supposedly he's my rival, but not really. Look at him. Resistance. Okay, Akasha's dead. Called life. Sometimes these are the little things that I kind of wonder, you know, like, this is just... Okay, you know what, I'm getting really tired of talking about this, so I'm just gonna be explaining things a lot more briefly. This Primrose is the class with probably the worst kit ever. Like, if you think about this, Absolute Zero, it deals very good damage. It deals around roughly like 630 times 3, so like 1,890 damage, give or take. This thing is a good skill. It's a really good skill until you saw this. It's charging animation. And if you want this to clip, you need this to clip. Or you need this to clip. Or you need this to clip. So you need to chain that. And when you put it that way, what makes it worse is that means that this skill now has a condition. When a skill needs a particular condition to actually use, now that is fucked up. Because if you think about it, I'm gonna show you in just a bit, okay? 636% damage times 3. Okay? This is basically like the full damage of this skill. So roughly around 1800, give or take. And then, so that's like the go-to skill for Primrose. And now I'm gonna show you something from Konichi. Okay? When you look at Shadow Plume, this thing deals relatively lower damage, about 400 times 3, so it's about like 600 damage, like less. But that's it. Secondly, Touch of Death. This thing deals roughly around like 1,200% damage. And this is good because it's fast, you know? And like, it just creates more coverage. Now let's talk about the Konichi a little bit, and then we can like pivot to the Primrose again. The Konichi is a very, very versatile class. It's a class with a little bit of everything. It's got a forward guard, it's got a super armor, it's got a forward guard break, it's got a grab, it's got stealth, it's got invis. It's basically a class with a little bit of everything, except its opening skill has no super armor, which makes this class very flawed. Next, this skill and this skill have basically almost no range. Its range is very short, and against a class that can really like maintain a distance, this class is meh. And yeah, so let's count. Shadow Plume, 2 charges, that's 2. Rain of Steel, 2 charges, that's 2. And then we have Smokescreen, which actually deals stealth, cannot be disabled for 2 seconds. Which this thing can basically count as super armor as well. So that's 5. And then there's 6, where Suplex goes. Okay? Where Suplex goes. But then if you look at this, Shadow Plume can be lingered for 1.5 seconds. Which means that after you use all 4 of your charges on both skills, either the first skill that you use on that run will already be off cooldown. Say that you go Shadow Plume, Rain of Steel, Shadow Plume, Rain of Steel, the first Shadow Plume would already be off cooldown, which basically means that this thing that you can make this or this have 3 charges. Now if you think about it that way, and then you compare this to a class like Primrose. By the way, you guys saw that one, the cooldown of Rain of Steel and Shadow Plume is 6 seconds. Now you look at this. This Cold Snap has 1 charge. That's it. That's literally it. That's it, man. Like, that's it, you know? There's nothing else. It's just that. And it's 10 seconds. When reduced, it will be 8 seconds. 8 seconds for this shit. Next, Frigid Burst. This skill is... that's it. 5 seconds. Alright, I mean, it's a charged up skill. We can't really argue with that. Alright. Now let's talk about the last skill, which is this one. Literally, this is the only thing it does. Boom. Boom. That's it. It does basically nothing. It takes very long to just stay stationary, and it doesn't move, which makes breaking it super easy. Secondly, this Primrose have no stealth, which means that any of this skill is basically an easy grab target. That means this class is so easy to grab. If you get a Primrose and you saw Primrose do this, just grab it. That's it. That's one dead Primrose. Alright? It's so easy to beat this class. Despite whatever it may say, like the movement speed slow, nobody gives a fuck about movement speed slow. When you have nothing to fight against, when you have nothing to fight with, there's not really any use. 1, this class cannot trade. Why? Because its super armor has no damage. This thing deals 500 damage, man. 500% damage. This thing deals like, what the fuck is this, man? Like, this is not gonna hit everything, because like you need to, like, the enemy needs to be like in front of you and then like a bit further away for everything to hit. So it's probably just gonna hit once or twice, which basically means this thing deals like 200 damage, like 200% damage, 256% damage. It does nothing. And this, once the enemy like broke through this, that's it. You got nothing left. The rest of your skills all have delay. Like say this skill, Glacial Wall. There's the animation of when she actually brought her arms from like the bottom to the top, trying to like grind the ice from the ground. During that animation, she's very, very easily CC'd, which makes this class even worse. Because that means that this class has so much delay, which actually disables this class's ability to perform. Next is probably one of the biggest issue in the entire kit of this class. All right, so we all know that this class have horrible super armor. It's very easily killed by almost any like 3rd gen mechanic like stealth or forward guard breaking skills or grabs. These three things, and any class with these 3 things can basically kill the Primrose easily. Like easily. And this is the reason why paladins, like Reapers with her backstab, and then there's the Blade Master. All of these classes, the Kunoichis, Paladins, these classes ruin this class. And even against classes without it, this class still can't fight them properly. Now, if you think about it, the Berserkers cooldowns are so like, it's so short. I'm pretty sure I've talked about that on the video before this one, where I talked about the nerf for the yeah, you can just check out the video before this one. I talk a little bit about the Berserker and different classes. Those classes have way too much stall, way too much ability to actually trade. This class doesn't. And no matter what, the only class that I think is decent enough to fight with the Primrose, that I think is most viable, I honestly don't know. Like, we can look into this and see like which class is actually easy to fight with the Primrose. Titan can fucking grab you. Sura can stab you from behind from his invisibility, and then he can grab you. The Lancer, the Gladiator can basically nullify every single hit you have, because most of your attacks are frontal, and he can grab you also. The VK, forward guard, stalling, sustain. This class can basically fuck a Primrose up. Nova, really? Grab, super long, like long range grab with basically a very, very strong passive shield. It's not easy to fight. Trust me, it's not easy. Fletcher is probably the only status quo. To be completely honest with you, I think that the Primrose is simply made just to fight Fletchers. This class don't really have that kind of advantage against the Fletchers, because if you think about it, the Fletcher super armor is much more than the Primrose. It also deals more damage on its super armor, so trading in a long run would really like fuck us up. And if he keeps using keep away, we are forced to actually use a super armor when we don't want to, just to block it. And this is really crucial. The only saving grace is the slow, which is here and here, in which one of them is not, like, one of them don't even have super armor, and the other one, like, yeah, basically speaking, this class got so much issues to the point where I think it's pointless to play. It's really pointless to play it. I genuinely don't think that there is any viable reason why you would use this class if, like, you got like so many other classes in the game that are so good. Like, I've thought about it many times about like this class being decent against Berserkers, until I realized it was simply me that's good against Berserkers, not the class. Because I can produce the same result with almost any class in the game. Like, so it's not Primrose, like, it's not Primrose exclusive. And that information really fucked me up. Because I thought that the Primrose was good, until I thought of it again, and I tried to play as stupid as possible. With me playing stupid is probably like to the level of someone who's just okay. And I got destroyed, like, with a Berserker. Like, I got destroyed by a Berserker. And this kind of shows just how weak this class is. Like, you can say whatever you want about the slow being very strong. What is a slow gonna do to you if he can't do shit to you? That is the only problem. You can just spam your super armor, and there's nothing that this class can do. This class got the worst super armor, with very long cooldown. This thing has, like, oh my god, man. Very long cooldown. This thing basically does nothing. Let's look at the counter that belongs to the Lotus. We will look into this and really show you why the Primrose is probably the most horrible one out of all the Bladers. The Lotus also have its own version of counter. It's this one. Look at it. You look at this, alright? That's a counter. That's the counter. Alright? That's basically the counter. Now you compare that one with the Blade Masters. I'll show you. This is the Blade Masters counter. This is the non-float. This one's the one with the float. And this, by the way, breaks forward guard. In case you don't know. The Lotus's version also does the same. It can break forward guard as well. So now if we think about it, there's simply no viable reason to play the Primrose. And if you're playing the Primrose and you're still like so in love with the class, well, I guess you can keep playing it, but I really don't suggest that you do. Whatever you want to like say about it, like the only reason why I still win like quite consistently against this class, unless I'm really against decent players, let's just say that the only people that will lose to my Primrose are just people who are decent but nowhere good. If I'm against someone who's actually good at the game, my Primrose will not stand a chance. The class is too weak. And that is why I'm gonna repeat what I did on April, which is basically I'm gonna abandon the Primrose until it's buffed again. And hopefully this time, we get a buff that is actually useful. And a buff that actually balances the class. Because the passive is shit. It does nothing. At least for the arenas. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm gonna look into more of the things later on if there's any more updates from our friend Boo Boo. But for now, that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and yeah, I'm gonna see you guys again very, very soon. Bye.